Every day when we look outside our windows, we see nature. And in that nature, we see mathematics. Every living thing has been created using a sort of math. Everywhere in nature, we see a sequence. The Fibonacci Sequence. A series of numbers that appear in aspects of our world, such as leaves, conch shells, and most famously, the sunflower. But what if I were to tell you that we can see sequences in sports? Oh, you heard me right. These sequences are known as highlights. Day in and day out, we see more spectacular plays. Some are a repeat of the past, while others are doing it completely differently. Some bigger, some better, spectacular, stupendous, unbelievable, and most importantly, unpredictable. And that's what separates sports from nature. Unpredictability. But in reality, all of that is simply the sequence getting bigger and bigger. Join us now as we discover new numbers in the sequence. Tune in right now for the excitement of the Fibonacci Sequence. Hello and welcome to the Fibonacci Sequence, where we take a look at some of the naturally occurring phenomena of sports. I'll be your host on this journey as we take you to see the magnificent wonders that are the sporting world. I'm R Square in the studio, and later today we'll be joined by R Square on the field. You see, we are not simply a highlights show, but we are a highlights show and an awards show. So basically what that means, we're splitting into 5 categories today. It might be more some weeks, might be less some weeks. But we're going to have 2 finalists, which again might be more, might be less sometimes. We're going to have 2 finalists for each of our categories. 5 categories, 2 finalists. And it's going to be up to you, our viewers, to decide who is going in the intro. And what I mean by that is that intro you just saw, the highlights can be swapped out super easily. And that just means you guys have to vote on it. Who wins each category? And you'll find out next week on the Fibonacci Sequence who won each category. And we're going to go on into that each and every week. We're going to have an amazing time. But you came here for highlights, so let's get you on to the highlights. Let's send you down to my partner, R Square on the field. Thanks, R Square in the studio. I'm R Square down on the field. And we're gonna get you some highlights right away. But first, let me explain exactly what's coming to you right now. You see, folks, this first category is called Conked Out, where we get to take a look at some of the worst plays of the week, some downright failures, because for those that don't know, the Fibonacci sequence can be seen on conch shells. And why not have it right here? Because these players might as well be sleeping, get it conked out, because of how bad these plays are. Let's go ahead and hop on into our first clip. We got the Phillies and the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. We see here Jazz Chisholm Jr. up at the bottom of the 7th, down by 6. And it's going to be an easy out for Souza here, but boom! He gets nailed in the back by Brandon Marsh, who keeps going to try and make the play there. And Jazz Chisholm looks on like, what just happened? The inning did end up ending, but not without a little pain. But I guess you know what they say, no pain, no gain. But this one was certainly a whole lot of pain, because Brandon Marsh conked right into him. And a big hit between teammates there. That one had to hurt. And you see the look of pain there on Souza's face as he gets helped off the field. That one had to hurt. But there was some more chaos in Baltimore, as we had by far our worst performance of any game this week. We see the pitcher's Ryan Rollison as the ball gets swung over there, and Rollison, ooh, that's an error for the Rockies, which will cash in a run for the O's. As you see, the score's already 6-0 here in the bottom 6th. We'll see what happens exactly here. Rollison goes for it after Cedric Mullins is the one on the hit. He goes for it, and our friend Casper the Friendly Ghost steps in and knocks down the defender. But trust me, it gets worse from there because Rollison tries to keep going. Next place, Connor Stallings is up, and what was that throw? Stallings hit the ball towards left field, and Rollison decided he could go after it. Didn't exactly work out, though. He should have given it to Arcia because he says, I got it, whoo! I'm going to give it to that fan. He looks like a nice kid. He missed the fan, too, by the way. And that one went for 2 runs, batted in for the Orioles on a terrible error, and Rollison clearly unhappy about the result of this one. As you see, obvious frustration there, but wait a minute. It gets worse for the Rockies because that is second baseman Kyle Farmer pitching for the 9th inning. And it went just about as well as you'd expect. Boom! That ball is out of here. In the words of NSYNC, bye, 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 baby, bye, bye, bye. Never stood a chance as the second baseman Kyle Farmer gets toasted there in an unlucky break. Back to you in the studio, R-Square. Thanks a lot, R-Square on the field, but now it's my turn to take a shot at it. Well, you see, this next category is called The Outliers. While these plays might be often forgotten and sometimes completely disregarded, it's time we give them the respect they deserve. These guys had to go through some pretty tough things to make these plays. Let's see these things that may have gone unnoticed by most, but are always noticed at the Fibonacci sequence. Let's get on into it. We saw things get into action in Cincinnati at Great American Ballpark, and Terry Francona and Kevin Cash had a little bit of a fun time. What's this Kevin Cash is looking at? It looks like he might have got something playing on the Jumbotron. Folks, that is Kevin Cash from his playing days, striking out courtesy of Terry Francona, Terry Tito Francona. Even the Tampa Bay Rays players had a good laugh at it. And guess what? It gets even better because the Reds ended up winning the game. This might not have been the flashiest of highlights, but it certainly didn't go unnoticed by us because Tito playing mind games led him to a 5-run win. But let me tell you, there was some impressive stuff happening over in Kansas City as Michael Garcia, he's like, oh, what's this? That looks like I got something stuck in my shirt here. But trust me, it's not just a something. What is that, you say? Let's take a closer look at what that small black blob was. That, friends, is a bumblebee. And that bee made sure to leave its mark on Michael Garcia. Ooh, yikes! But don't worry, he got the powers of the bee, as he immediately hits a single. Wait a minute, he's got the speed of a bee. It's a double. Watch this, but with cooler music. Watch it again. All the speed of a bumblebee. Back to you, R-Squared on the field. Thanks again, R-Square in the studio. You're back with me, R-Squared down on the field. Now let me explain this next category for you. Here we have it called Call Me Leonardo of Pisa. For those that don't know, Leonardo of Pisa was the creator of the Fibonacci sequence, which means that he had to be a pretty smart guy, and he had to have a lot of focus. So in this one, we're looking at the plays that are made that are either the most intelligent plays we've seen or are just impressive the amount of concentration that was able to be shown by these players. Let's go ahead and get into it. The circus drove up to Motown as we saw their juggler firsthand as Matt Vierling makes an incredible catch, showing his incredible concentration. As we see here, it's in the glove 1 minute, out the glove, but don't worry, he's got an extra hand. Incredible concentration shows as Vierling makes a remarkable catch to snag the out for the Tigers. And the pitcher was certainly happy about that one. But this was smart. Over in Toronto, the Orioles picked up a 16-4 win over the Blue Jays, and they said shout out to the 416. This is why the Orioles media team was so smart, because the Orioles made sure they knew their stuff, as 416 is the area code for the city of Toronto in Canada, also the home of the Toronto Blue Jays' very own stadium, Rogers Centre. This was a genius move by the Orioles media team. Back to you in the studio, R-Square. Thanks again, R-Square on the field. We're back here in the studio as we get set for our next segment. We got The Sequence Repeats. That's right, it can do that. The sequence can most certainly repeat, and we saw it firsthand a couple of times this week, where two things happened eerily similar. sometimes on the same game, same series, same team. It was a crazy sort of things we can see on the sequence repeats. It gets more and more interesting every single time, and it doesn't quite stop there. So let's take a look at some of the things that you might be saying, gives me a little bit of a deja vu. Let's go ahead and hop on in. St. Louis and San Diego had a classic chippy series in St. Louis, and it started on July 25th when this guy bopped Wilson Contreras, and Contreras was less than thrilled about it. He's been hit by pitch more than anyone else in Major League Baseball, and he had a little bit of a chat with him, and then the dugouts cleared, and they had a little bit of a heated discussion in the center. Everyone came out to have a little chat. But in the bottom of the fourth inning, things got a little worse for wear. Wilson Contreras is up for bat again. Randy Vasquez is the pitcher. Oing! And he just skids the side of his cheek. That could have been bad. As Vasquez hits him, almost hits him. They called it not quite a hit by pitch. But look at how close this was. What a dodge by Wilson Contreras, I might add. This man's got reflexes that may have saved his life, and he knows it there. He's like, whoo, that was a close one. But then it happens again. A pitch later, Vasquez hits Contreras with the pitch, and again, Contreras is very unhappy. His hand hurts after that one. Vasquez says, my bad. Yeah, no way. I mean, he nails him right in the forearm, and that had to hurt if you're Contreras. He just took a 98-mile-per-hour fastball to the wrist. Very unhappy about being hit by pitch yet again. The umps get together trying to figure out what to do about this one. Contreras wants him ejected, of course, but they didn't really get his way there as he gets his hand checked out. No need to worry about him, though. He ended up being A-okay. Then Manny Machado is up. Let me tell you, the drama only got better from here because Machado got hit by the pitch. Matthew Liberatore hits him dead on in the top of the fifth inning with a pitch, and Machado was okay with it this time. He's like, okay, it happens, we get hit by pitch. But the way this series is going and that look there from the manager of the Cardinals made it seem a tad bit intentional. So Machado gets hit by pitch. He's not thrilled with it, but he understands it this time. The umps get together. They might feel like this one was a bit intentional as you see the two hit by pitch kings standing next to each other there. But then it happens again as Granillo hits Machado in the top of the ninth, and this time Machado takes offense at it. He's saying, that's the second time. That's the second time they've hit me. That's two. He's so mad that the Padres dugout comes and has a little chat. But this time the chat isn't quite as civil as normal, and things got a little heated. Contreras says, hey man, we had the same thing yesterday and I didn't get this mad. And they have a little chat by themselves, Contreras and Machado, just the two guys who keep getting hit by the pitch. It was a day of repeating people getting hit by pitches of balls that are kind of tough, really hard, and being thrown at very high speeds and getting hit in various different places. The umps talked to Olivier Marmol and, of course, Mike Schilt as well, trying to get things sorted out. But we had other news because in Baltimore, we had another case of repeats as Cedric Mullins goes at the wall and makes an incredible home run robbery. Zach Eflin says, I tip my hat to you, sir. As an incredible snag from Cedric Mullins over at center field, Lukes was not happy about that one. He sent one deep towards center. An incredible grab at Camden Yards to end the inning there. Cedric Mullins, now a New York Met, so this is really a slideshow of what the Mets are getting. Mullins, bing, he just snags it right out of the sky. For reference, that's a big wall. That's almost twice his size. Tip of the hat indeed. Now you see this is not the same play, but it is the same team in the same series in the same week, but he goes higher this time as he scales the wall and some to make an incredible grab just days apart as this one goes deep and he plucks it right out of the sky. Thanks, our square in the studio, and back down here, it's our square on the field. Let me tell you, this next one is the best category we have. For one very simple reason, it's for the best plays. This one's called the Golden Ratio. For those that don't know, the Golden Ratio is the perfect set of numbers that appears in some of the best places in nature, and you can get there by crossing the Fibonacci sequence, which is exactly what we've done today. The Golden Ratio Award of Excellence is for the best players or best plays of the week. For this one, we have a couple of games that highlighted the absolute best of this week's talents. Let's go on and take a look.
The NFL is back, and I've never been more excited for a kickoff. Cameron Dicker kicks off to start the NFL preseason in the Hall of Fame game. But let's fast forward a bit to the 2-minute warning at the end of the game. Down by 27, it's 4th and 2 for the Detroit Lions. Hendon Hooker's the quarterback in 4th and 2. Hooker looks deep, he throws down the field, and it is caught. Or is it? It's intercepted. But how did that happen? Let me tell you, this kid's name is Miles Purchase, and I have a feeling we're going to be seeing him in the NFL season because I do feel like he missed his calling, however, because I feel like he would have been a really good seagull. I mean, he said, mine, mine, mine. I mean, look at this. Snags it right from him. You know, the real job I think he would be great at is at those fancy parties when someone were to say, "Oh, could I take my coat, please?" "Oh, yes, sir, you can take my coat." "All right, I'll take that off your hands." And then he disappears, and the guy's like, "Where'd my coat go?" That's exactly the kind of scenario that happened here, as Miles Purchase may have missed his true calling, but he'll make a fine defensive back in the NFL. The NFL season's underway, and I can't wait for the rest of the highlights. Most of this game's highlights were Trey Lance's doing, as a surprising offensive weapon for the Chargers. But I would go as far to say that this isn't the best performance we saw. Because in Houston, we saw a tough game for Ryan Gusto, the new pitcher for the Miami Marlins, back in his Houston days, as Nick Kurtz quickly hits a single there as his first at-bat. But then he keeps it going, hits a deep left center field, out of here. He's got 2 hits through 2 innings, and 1 home run as Nick Kurtz's day keeps getting better. He's already got 2. But wait, let me tell you, this game was borderline historic. I mean, look at how hard he hits that one towards deep left. As the A's fans, what few are left, are cheering for the young guy, Nick Kurtz. As we see again, Kurtz hits another one deep to center, and that one is almost out. So close. He was at the line. Don't know if it could have been much farther back than that. He doesn't get the home run, but a solid double, and he says, "I'm churning here, churning the butter," and those A's fans are having a great time up by 7 against their division rivals, the Houston Astros, as he hits another incredible ball deep. But Nick Kurtz's day doesn't end there. Let me tell you, Kurtz hurt the Astros today. So he hits one deep in the top of the 6th, towards the left wall. Don't even bother. That's a home run, and the A's fans are loving it. They keep showing these guys because those are the only ones. And the A's take a bigger lead off of a big hit from Nick Kurtz. This guy's got 2 homers. He's 4 for 4. But hold on. It doesn't end here. That's right, Nick Kurtz's day just keeps getting better, and the Astros' day just keeps getting worse. But these guys' days are just fine. Let's see it again later. Nick Kurtz, 4-seam fastball, 97 miles per hour, double-decker, forget about it. As Nick Kurtz sends this one to the moon and back for another home run. He's 5 for 5 for 3 home runs. This kid is on fire. I mean, this is a magical performance, history-making by Nick Kurtz. One more time, just for good measure in the top 9th. I'll do it again. The final stat sheet, 6 of 6 with 4 home runs. Congratulations, Nick Kurtz. You just made history, my friend. An incredible game. Back to you in the studio, R-Squared.
Incredible series of highlights that we've seen today. I mean, this week has been an absolute incredible first episode. We've seen things here, we've seen things there, we've seen things everywhere. Even Shohei Ohtani is amazed. Had to fit it in there somewhere. I mean, it was a highlight all on its own. It's been an honor and a pleasure to be with you here in episode 1 of the Fibonacci Sequence. But don't worry if our time's up today, because we'll be back right this time next week, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time every Friday. We'll be back next week with the next series of highlights. And let me tell you, I got a feeling it's going to be better and better each and every week. This has been the Fibonacci Sequence. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.